good opportunity for Joseph to get even with his brothers. He had all the authority to revenge. They were helpless. They were like sitting ducks waiting for Joseph to attack. They were defenseless. But rather, Joseph took this special opportunity to demonstrate the power and sovereignty of God. He knew that what happened was in the past. It cannot be changed anymore. So what he did was to find something good from their past actions. He said, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. So Joseph here showed them what love is all about. It is accepting a person because of who he is, and no matter what he had done to us. You know, when the American Civil War ended, a group of angry Southerners gained an audience with President Lincoln. They want to air their complaints. But because of his gentle, friendly manner, it melted their anger. And when the president left them, they had a very high respect for their old foe. When the northern congressmen heard about it, they insisted that Lincoln must destroy, not befriend their enemies. And Lincoln replied, am I not destroying my enemies by making them my friends? Solomon 16 verse 7, when a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. And then there's one more. Just one more. One more step, verse 20, chapter 20, verse 50, verse 21. Now therefore do not be afraid, I will provide for you and your little ones, and he comforted them, and he spoke kindly to them. Now therefore, this is very good. What did he do to his brothers? He loved them. He displayed God-likeness in his dealings with them. When we love our enemies, listen friends, we reflect the character of God. When we treat both our friends and enemies with grace and kindness, we are behaving much like our Heavenly Father, who is no respecter of persons. Jesus pointed out that when we love those who love us, we are not much different than unbelieving tax collectors. When we greet only those who we consider brothers, we are not much different than the unbelieving Gentiles. So you see, friends, we have no other option but to love our enemies. Of course, loving those who threaten and intimidate us with a godlike love remains an unnatural challenge. But as He enables us to do so, we will reflect more accurately the goodness, the grace, and patience of our Heavenly Father. Joseph demonstrated that love has greater power to resolve conflicts than hatred and hostility. 2 years ago, James, you know James, right? One of our youth here in church came to camp meeting at Camp Whiteside. I was very happy when I saw him. But you know James, he was hyperactive, always biking around the camp. One evening, during mealtime, I went to the Filipino village. We call it Filipino village, where most of the West Part people, they pitch up their tents there. And so I visited the place. And I parked my car beside the tents. And while we were resting, here comes James speeding on his bike toward us. I thought of the parked cars. How come he's not slowing down? He might crash into one of the cars. And before we could say something, he slumped into one of the cars. And lo and behold, it was my car. Good, he wasn't hurt. But my car had a scratch right at the bumper. I tried to ignore it, but deep within me, I wanted to give him a good sermon. I waited for him to say sorry, but he didn't do that. So I thought of giving him a good lecture on how to behave properly in the Catholic. But after some soul searching, I thought I can either be in the right, or I can be in a good relationship with James. And since James will probably live longer than my car, I decided I'd rather be in a good relationship with James than being in the right. Besides, cars are meant to be banged up. And I got mine a little bit earlier than I expected. During the evening, when we were attending the evening meetings, James came and sat beside me, and he asked for forgiveness. And so I put my arms on his shoulder and said, "Don't you worry, James. There was an accident. I'm sure you didn't mean to do that. Next time, be more careful while fighting. It's okay, James." And I was so happy I did. I was really relieved, you know. And you know what? I never had that scratch fix, for it will always remind me of what I yearn for, to be always loving and forgiving like Christ. So if you have feelings of bitterness and resentment against someone, don't pretend you're okay. Don't hide from the person. Others, they don't come to church anymore because of somebody who they hate in the church. Don't do that. Take the Jesus alternative to getting them. Replace the spirit of retaliation with Christ-like love. And please, if you have someone you don't like, let me suggest this, friends, as soon as you reach home, pick up the phone. Pray for God's grace to bring your heart and talk to the person who is hurting you and be reconciled. You will be thankful.